Hey everyone, Jajankin here, and first of all, I want to say sorry for not uploading videos for a while. I promise to upload more frequently. If not, I promise to make an update video in case something comes up. Now let's continue with the video. So today I bring you a Hunter x Hunter chapter 368 review. This chapter is just wow, amazing. Like I always say, Togashi really knows how to flip the table, surprising everyone in the community. No one expected this. Now last chapter we left off with Queen Otto spying on the 13th Prince, Mayuram, or something like that. So while Queen Otto is spying on the 13th Prince, she is writing every little detail down in a notepad, like what is Mayuram's Nambies, how many bodyguards are there and pro hunters are inside, where are they positioned at, everything like that, etc. Again, Queen Otto is showing amazing growth as she is able to deduce that the extra bodyguards belong to his sister, and that Momose's bodyguards are all spies sent by other princes, leaving her vulnerable. Not gonna lie, the way Queen Otto is developing, she is probably gonna become my favorite female character in Hunter x Hunter. And then we see Bobby Mina, who is staring from a distance, is trying to figure out what the queen is writing with his hand, but can't figure it out. So after a while, Queen Otto flips the page over, indicating she has finished getting all information on one prince. And Kurapika is starting to panic more as it took her about 1 hour. As we all know, Kurapika is an emperor time, and every second takes 1 hour off his lifespan. And it's been 3 hours. That means he's lost about half a year, and Kurapika is more worried about the physical strain rather than cutting his lifespan. Now something I like about Togashi's art style is that even though sometimes his style is pretty simple, he is able to draw their expressions very good. I just love how amazing Togashi draws them. I'll put some in the video so you can see what I'm talking about. So enough about his art, let's continue with the review. So as Queen Otto is done gathering information on Mayuram, she moves on to the next prince, Momose. So as the queen arrives at Momose's room, the room is all dark, and that's where we see it, Momose being strangled to death. To be honest, I never expected this. No one expected this. And the way Togashi draws it, it gives me chills just looking at it. So as Queen Otto sees it, she screams saying stop it and telling Kurapika to go and stop him and save Momose. And Kurapika trying to calm her down saying it was a nightmare. As Bobby Mina is there watching and Queen Otto pushes Kurapika saying this is no time for petty strategies and that if he won't help she will go herself. And so Kurapika decides to go and tells Bill to check it out, but only Bobby Mina can go and check as he has more authority. So after a while we see soldiers and Momose in a body bag. Now I never expected Momose to die so quickly, but it does make sense if you read the previous chapters, as Togashi has been hinting at her death, as we got the most information out of her and she was in the most dangerous position as every bodyguard of hers were spies. But I have a theory, but I'm thinking about making another video about it as it's gonna take too long. So let's continue with the review. And we see Queen Otto distraught, saying we could have stopped it, we might have been able to save her. So Kurapika and Bill are talking about the situation as it was perfect timing, and we see Momose's bodyguards being detained, and the other bodyguard approaches Kurapika asking him why didn't Momose's Nambies protect her, and Kurapika responds saying that's because of lack of aura, as Momose was tired as the Nambies feeds on their host's aura, so they attacked during that moment when Momose was tired, saying that the enemies must be well versed in Nan. I'm amazed by how Togashi can include information on every chapter, giving us more details on the Nambies. And so Bill tells Kurapika this could actually work towards their advantage, as more people will be interested in Nan after this incident and make it easier for them to form alliances. But Kurapika doesn't know what to do as Queen Otto is in distraught, and Kurapika doesn't want to force her to keep on spying on the rest of the prince. And this is when Bobby Mina goes to the queen and asks her why did she scream, why does she want to help Momose, saying it only puts her in a bad situation. And Kurapika realizes that Bobby Mina knows about the queen using the Nan ability, but Kurapika is confused as to what he can gain from this. Now this next scene has to be the best part of the chapter for me. Queen Otto responds saying, unlike every last one of you who is wrapped in this survival game, I won't stand by watching watching someone else's daughter being killed, and the most unexpected thing happens. Bobby Mina decides to leave, telling the other bodyguard to leave as well, so the queen can be at ease, and Kurapika is surprised as he removes his hand as well. I'm going to keep repeating this. Queen Otto is amazing. The more we see of her, the more she is becoming my favorite female character. To think she is going to be the voice of reason and showing compassion in this arc. And the next surprising thing is that Bobby Mina decided to ask the queen that question and decided to leave. Now, like I said before, in the previous chapter there is more to Bobby Mina, and that Togashi is going to make him more important to the arc, as we saw in this chapter. Many see the people around Bobby Mina and assume he must be like them as well. However, it seems he has more honor and wants to change things from the inside. From the moment he presented himself, he didn't come off as someone who had evil, sinister intent. He looks like someone who is doing his job. He's just aligned with a group of people that take pleasure in destruction. Now, perhaps he could just be playing mind games and fucking with us, but just looking at this panel, you could tell there's more going on here. Perhaps he was swayed by Otto's commitment to doing the right thing, even in this situation. So after Bobby Mina leaves, Queen Otto activates the Nan ability again to gather more information, and Kurapika tells her to not force herself, and the queen responds, "I'm doing this for Wobo, her daughter. I'm not doing this because I'm worried about you." Now this is an interesting twist, as either the queen is worried about Kurapika but is being tsundere about it, or Queen Otto and Kurapika are becoming more distant towards each other. Now if they are getting more distance, this puts Kurapika in a better situation, as the queen could possibly betray Kurapika to save her daughter, as she is doing all this for Wobo. So a situation could come up where she can sacrifice or exchange Kurapika for her daughter's safety. After that, the phone rings and Bill answers, and we get confirmation as to how many princes accepted the invitation. Basically everyone, but mostly every prince isn't going to attend. They will be sending their bodyguards, except the 2 and 6 prince. Now this is interesting, that these 2 prince will be attending themselves. Either they are so confident or they have other plans in mind, but still it's going to be interesting to see the interaction between Kurapika and these 2 prince. So as we see Kurapika and Bill discussing the situation and how many bodyguards should be allowed to be sent, Kurapika begins to feel pain and can hear Bill's voice clearly, and that's when Kurapika faints due to the strain of using Emperor time. Now Togashi could be going a lot of different ways with this. As we all know, Kurapika is usually out of commission for a few days, as we've seen in the York New arc. So Togashi could either do a little time skip where Kurapika wakes up and suddenly so much has changed. For example, mostly everyone is dead, or other situations. Or perhaps Kurapika will wake up sooner than expected. Now this is the worst thing that can happen, leaving Bill alone to handle the situation. Now something I'm wondering, hopefully Togashi explains it later. Now I'm wondering if whether Emperor time was deactivated, or is it still on? And if it did deactivate, that just puts them in a worse situation, as Queen Otto can't gather any more information. Now as for the other options Togashi could go with this whole Kurapika being unconscious, is to focus on other characters. For example, the Zodiacs, the Phantom Troop, the rest of the Prince, or the other hunters. Perhaps even Leorio. Leorio could come back if he happens to hear about Kurapika falling unconscious. Next we shift the focus to Hanzo and Bisky. Not gonna lie, I didn't expect this. Hanzo is pissed off about Momose's death, saying he could have saved her if he was there with her. For those that don't remember, Momose's mom told Hanzo to leave and protect Mario, Momose's brother, leaving Momose all alone with the spy bodyguards. Now this is interesting, seeing more characterization for Hanzo, showing us a different side to Hanzo that we haven't seen before. Now there are 2 possibilities as to why this hit Hanzo pretty hard. First, since Hanzo is a ninja, he takes his missions more seriously and blames himself as it was his mission to protect Momose. The second reason could be Hanzo is just someone who values life. Now you might say, but Hanzo has killed people before, but for all we know it was self-defense or forced upon him. Either way, it's nice seeing Hanzo more involved in this arc, giving him more characterization. And so Hanzo plans on stopping the murder, as Hanzo says he will strike again, saying the murderer used a clone to avoid suspicion and cause confusion. And Bisky asks how will you stop him, and we learn Hanzo can make clones as well, as he is a ninja first. This is interesting, learning more about Hanzo's Nen abilities, and Bisky is worried about Hanzo that he might do something rash. Now many people are expecting Hanzo to die, as it does seem like a death flag, but to be honest, I don't see this happening, as Hanzo is almost on the same level as Hisoka, and I don't see someone as strong as him dying. But the most important reason as to why I don't see Hanzo dying is because of Bisky. Bisky will certainly help Hanzo if he is in trouble, as from what we've seen, Bisky clearly is worried about him, even though they just met recently. I just can't see Bisky abandon him if the going gets rough. And lastly, we move on to the fourth prince, Serenik, and I still don't know how to pronounce his fucking name. So we see him still learning Nen, and we got confirmation he has learned Gyo in half a day, which is amazing, just like Gon and Killua, who learned it in a day or less if I remember correctly, which just goes to show he clearly is a Nen genius due to his bloodline of a royal family, or like I said on one of my previous reviews, perhaps the Nen Beast is helping the prince learn Nen faster. I'll leave a link to the video where I talk about it more in the description, as it's gonna take too long to explain it here. So Serenik tells his bodyguard that they receive a phone call about the whole Kurapika situation, about learning Nen in 2 weeks, and Serenik is pissed off since she said it would take at least half a year. So Serenik is thinking she is lying to him, or Kurapika could be bluffing, and his bodyguard tells him perhaps he has an ability to awaken Nen faster, saying her method is the best and correct way. And Serenik responds with the following: "You know what is the one thing I hate most in this world? It's a lying bitch." To be honest, I would probably piss my pants in front of this dude. And then we see Serenik's Nen Beast is right next to her, and we in the bottom panel we see some blood drops. Now many people are speculating the Nen Beast attacked her and killed her off, or just ripped off an arm, but I think Togashi is baiting us. I'm thinking it's another prince who died. Now this chapter had so much in it, many surprises, interesting interactions with Bisky and Hanzo, more characterization for Queen Otto and Bobby Mina and Hanzo as well, the whole Karateka fainting and Momo's death, and seeing more of Serenik. It's amazing how Togashi puts so much content in one chapter. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, they are fun to make. Sorry for not uploading more often. I promise on uploading more, so have a great day.